It is Women's Day and I come to you from the most iconic college of Bengaluru, which is Mount Carmel College. And what better way to celebrate Women's Day than this college, because this college holds the legacy of having given us so many beautiful women who've conquered or achieved so many different things in different sectors. I have with me some beautiful girls out here who are seated in one of the beautiful addas of this college. And I want to talk about Women's Day and what it really means to you.
I think Women's Day is an absolutely beautiful concept that has been devised, and I think it means to me that it's one day that we actually truly celebrate women, even though we should be celebrating them every day. But I think it's good that we give our all to this one day and celebrate the people that make us.
Well, in fact, this college did celebrate women every day, and I'm sure that is going to change in a short while from now because the gates are going to be thrown open to men as well. Do you think that is kind of going to challenge the women out here?
First of all, there's from so many decades, the women from this college who passed out have made a great impact to this college. Yes, it's gonna be challenging at the first, but later on it's gonna be all right.
Are you excited?
I'm a third year, so I'll be leaving soon. So
Unfortunate, right, for us, because I also hail from this college. But when it comes to Women's Day, who's that one woman who you would like to salute?
I'd like to say my mother, and all the girls out here will 100% agree with me because that is the woman that I've looked up to since day one. And my mother, I've seen her, going through all the phases in her life, still thriving and, upscaling in all her aspects of her life, be it professional, be it personal. So yeah, I'd say to my mother.
But when it comes to women, do you think that there are a lot of challenges that women face? And how do you think they should really conquer this? How can mindsets change?
So socially speaking, yes, they've definitely faced a lot of challenges, and you see a lot of instances happening, very subtle instances. It happens in corporate spaces, and it also, as you mentioned, we might face challenges in college as well. But I feel we as women are very strong, and I think we'll take all the challenges that come our way.
So what is your secret to success?
I want to make sure that I give my best. So if I'm giving my best, I'll be satisfied and I can sleep well, knowing that
even if it fails, you can sleep well. Having the thought that you have really done it well and to your might. But when it comes to the top positions of any kind of corporate sector or any industry, be it even the media industry, for instance, I've always noticed that women aren't really fairly represented. Or are they? What is your thought?
I feel from the past few decades, we have been seeing rational growth in women being represented in almost all sectors. One of the instances of women being identified in Olympics in the recent years is one of the greatest changes. And the second thing is the WPL, which is just happening in Chinnaswamy Stadium. You see the stadium full and people are cheering up for the women there. And that's quite commendable. So I see there are a lot of changes, but yeah, there are some certain sectors which need improvement, and we'll surely see the next few decades. Hopefully we see it.
When it comes to Women's Day, do you kind of always feel that this is overhyped and things must really change?
It's an yes and a no. It depends on what we are actually celebrating it for. If it is like, okay, this is Women's Day and we are going to celebrate women only on this day, then probably the mindset needs to change. It is not about that one day for her. It's about celebrating her achievements throughout the year on that one particular day. Probably like how we have an annual day where we are giving out prizes of the best student in the year, like that. So suppose it's one day like that where we are celebrating women. But if it's like that, then it's okay. But if it's that I'm keeping this one day apart where I will respect women, but for the rest of the year I don't care what she does, then that needs to change. If it's hyped only for that reason, then there is there's no meaning behind celebrating that Women's Day.
Have you ever felt that, being a woman, why am I a woman? I should have, been born a son to my parents. Any such thoughts that have always crossed your mind?
From a relatively young age, we see boys enjoying more freedom. So we realize that, maybe it's better to be a guy, or maybe it's better that we'll enjoy more freedom. But then eventually I started realizing that women do have power and women can possess power, but just that we don't really realize it, and society doesn't really put that upon us. And moreover, my mom was alone and my dad was abroad, so she handled everything. It was always inspiring to see that she was able to handle accounts and household, and she went for a full-time job. So I did eventually come to a conclusion that being a woman is something really beautiful and powerful.
I mean, I want to go back to your past, the time when you actually felt that, I shouldn't be a woman. What were those instances that kind of made you feel that way?
When we heard about a lot of news about rape or about women's safety, at that time I realized why is it only happening for women? Even though we know that it does happen for men, I felt like it's something we are facing a disadvantage compared to the other gender. So that's why I felt it.
In fact, that is a very important issue that has been raised. When it comes to women's safety, where do you think Bangalore really stands? Because there have been instances of, cases of crime going up, or even, people coming forward to report. How do you think you see that change?
Saying of women's safety, where women always need safety, either going for work or at home. It is not only where women have to keep themselves safe from all the dangers coming with them knowing or not knowing. It is also meant that men's also should know to protect the ladies, and they should make sure they make them feel safe. It is like men should make them feel safe, where women like I can't go there. They should not feel like that. So it is always like it should be in both the sides, where women should be safe and sound.
It shouldn't be just a woman's responsibility when it comes to her safety, but even men around her must really protect her or make her feel safe. These are some of the thoughts that we gather here, but it is definitely a beautiful day to celebrate Women's Day. It also falls on a Mahashivratri day, and that is why most colleges are closed, but then luckily Mount Carmel College opened its doors for a job fair that happened. And so we here are wishing each of those beautiful girls to get a fairly wonderful job that is according to their interest and likes, and they really go ahead to conquer this world. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.